All right. I think, can the people online hear us?
Yes.
My name is Fred Schultz, and I am the chair / president of the Monroe County Economic Development Commission. Just calling to order a meeting June 17th, where public notice has been provided of the meeting. So we are gathered here. We have a quorum, and we're here to discuss and review, do our annual review on tax abatements that have been provided to various entities in our county. And we've got an agenda, and I'll call the meeting to order and call for a roll call. Fred Schultz.
Isaac Asari.
All right. There we go. We got a quorum. So,
The most useful I've ever been.
it's all uphill. You're just shooting up like a rocket right now. You are on your way. All right. So the agenda says it's time for the election of officers. How exciting for us.
How many officers do we have?
We typically have a president and a secretary.
Great. Motion to re-elect Fred Schultz as the president of the Monroe County Economic Development Council.
Now
You have to second that.
I was just going to say, for the sake of drama, I would move to nominate you as.
I will second. So I mean, we'll be at a stalemate.
It's been on for years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, shall we motion to adjourn? I think you have done this. You do this well, and also I think it makes more sense for it to not be an elected person.
All right. Okay. Well, then I will second the nomination of myself.
All in favor? Aye.
All right. And
Do we want a secretary?
you sure can.
I think there are occasions where, when we do industrial development bonds, the secretary signs that bond paperwork. So I
Okay.
think you need to have it.
Okay. I would nominate Isaac Asari as the.
I'll
Secretary.
second. I will second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So there we go. We got our officers elected, and we are reviewing the tax abatement compliance forms. And here is where I will call on our ever steady and dedicated attorney, Jeff Cockrell, to fill us in on the applications.
Well, and I think just as a reminder, we get these compliance forms for tax abatements that have been approved by the county by May 15th of each year. And once we receive those, the county council has a 45-day window to take any action upon them, or they're deemed approved. So this is a kind of the interim step before we get it on the county council's agenda, which we have to get it on by the end of June. So this will be on their agenda for next Tuesday. We received 4 compliance forms from 4 different groups. I'm going to, in the packet, I have a recommendation to the Monroe County Council. They're the ultimate authorities. I think I'm going to go through them in order of strict compliance versus not. GLC Bloomington, also known and came through our discussion as Ernest Health. They were in compliance with theirs. They had 168 employees, and they had promised in their CF1 110, and they have over 2.6 million in wages above and beyond what was promised in the CF1 forms. For Phoenix Closures, they have 17 more people with salaries exceeding 213 than what they have in their statement of benefits. And we have 2 that aren't quite to that level yet. I will note that Provelli, has 66, and they're estimated on their CF1 was 78. But their total salaries are approximately 300 above what they promised in that. So not as many jobs, wages are higher. But I think
So you're saying they're substantially compliant? Is that their status, or?
I would think, and I think, and the person from Provelli is on, one of them is on, and they can kind of explain. I think we're looking at a very similar situation to what we had last year, where they had some wages, but they didn't have the head count, and it was primarily due to the market and the unable to find employees. And he gave up, my memory, I can't remember if we did this at the council meeting, at the EDC meeting, or with me by phone, but he gave all the reasons what they were doing to hire more people, and they just weren't able to get those hires done. But they're continuing to work for it. And I think that's a similar story to what we're looking at this year. Oliver Winery, this was, I think we did this abatement at the end of, let me see, make sure I don't, it's the newest abatement.
Right, that's my recollection.
And this was done, let me find the form. Of course, I put them in order, at the end of 2022, and they had a ramp-up schedule so that their project would be completed by the end of 27. So they're really early in their programming. I called them because their form actually made it look like they had decreased employment from 63 to 21. And that, when I talked with Mr. Black, who's also on this call, he explained it's because they were counting people differently than they did under the SB1 versus what they are with the CF1. So he sent an email, which you guys should have all received, that kind of explained, they're not up tremendously. They certainly aren't at the 21 additional, but they have hired a few more. And again, this is pretty early in that abatement. And so if you did it apples to apples, they were actually up, I think, 5 employees versus what appeared to be down 12 from what they had before. So they are increasing employment. It's just not, I mean, their project's not done. They haven't put all the equipment in. So that's kind of my report. I know if you have any questions for Provelli or Oliver, they have representatives on the call if you have anything for them. Otherwise, the recommendation makes you make a choice whether to approve or reject. A recommendation to the county council to either approve the tax abatement compliance forms, and therefore they get the benefit of abatement, or to have the county recommend the county council reject those forms, in which case they wouldn't. And
okay. So first, I want to thank the representatives for Provelli and Oliver for being on, and since you're on, maybe just starting with the representative for Provelli, if you just identify yourself for the record, and I just have a couple of quick questions, if that's all right.
And he is muted, so if TSC could walk them through that. There you go. Over there. Try again, Bill muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Cypress, this is Fred Schultz. Thank you so much for joining us. How is business going?
Overall, business is going well. We are really enjoying being in Monroe County. Monroe County is a great place to do business. There's no doubt about it. Our other locations are in Georgia and in Canada, and we really enjoy being there in Monroe County. It's been great. I was up there last week. It's a great time of year to visit.
Good. Is there anything that we can do? Is there anything that Monroe County can do to help you guys? Not that you need our help, but is there any? It's more of just checking in.
Yeah, no, I think we're on path to hit our goals. We've hired an internal recruiter who's really helped, and that's been a big move for us. Because we do have a few people we've hired through staffing agencies and things like that, and we'll continue to do that. But no, I think everything's been good. We're just really working to put the right equipment in place. Trying to upgrade our equipment. With upgrading equipment, we do hire operators and engineers that are a little bit higher level. So we might be off by the head count, but the wages are a little higher. And like just recently, we hired 2 new engineers, mechanical engineers. One's based in Martinsville, and one's based in Bloomington. And because we offered him the job in Bloomington, he just signed his first lease on an apartment in Bloomington. And so, you know, that's definitely the future of our company, is hiring the younger engineers. So I hope we hit the wage count. We should, but you might see the salaries more than the wages. If one's much more important to y'all than the other, please let me know. But, you know, these kids coming out of college, those are really our targets right now. That's what we're trying to hire. Of course, we need machine operators too, and different people running CNC equipment. We've worked with Ivy Tech to try to locate some people to run machines straight through their program. So we have not fully engaged in that yet, but we're working on that. So that's a good thing. But that's all I have. We really enjoyed it. It's a great place to do business. It's a great place to recruit.
Yeah, it's a super tight job market out there. I know, and it's finding people. I know in my business, it's just finding people. We just hire on for a new position, and literally, the difference for us of offering just even $2 an hour more, we attracted a couple of people that we would have never attracted. I think, it's a tight market. So
100%. One of the things we're proud of is that we're keeping the people too.
Yeah.
And so that's been good. I think, everybody's getting an opportunity to participate in some of the upside of the company whenever the company does well. And that's, once they've been with us for a certain amount of time period. And so that's been good. And I think the wage market is tight. I wonder if it's loosening up a little bit. We'll have to see, but it's been really, really tight up until now.
Well, thank you for everything you're doing.
I had a couple of questions. Of the 66 folks, so the CF1 with a tax abatement called for 78. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. Yes.
And so you have 12 positions open right now?
I am sure we do. Right now is our busy season, so it's a good time to hire. We just brought on like 3 or 4 more, but a lot of times it's tough for us to hire right in the middle of busy season. We kind of want to ramp up for busy season, and we want to get people trained properly before we just drop them in. Otherwise, we have, quality issues or whatever else.
Right. And so I'm just asking for the strict question of compliance with the thing. I mean, so when we're making this recommendation, so it's really just a time in question rather than you haven't laid a bunch of folks off or
no.
Yeah. Okay. And then of this just general questions following on from Mr. Schultz's question, and it's just and I'm sorry, the thing is here, but you're up there.
You're good.
So.
I get it. Yeah.
This isn't like the Wizard of Oz or something, where like you can't see my face. The of the 66 that are currently is that the total number of employees you have? I think that's, or is that that have been hired within this period, right?
Within Monroe County, yes.
How many of the folks within Monroe County live here in the county?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that information, but if we need to get you that, we definitely can. But we do have some people who drive in, but we encourage people to get apartments or get houses in Monroe County. We want people who want to come to the town, and we are always encouraging people, hey, don't spend an hour in the car, spend here.
That's right. It's helpful data for us. I know something the BEDC's in the room, and it's something that we've been working on is saying, how can we better support businesses and their employees to move as many people as possible here. And I know there's lots of pressures around housing and other things like that, but as you have that data, it's really useful for us to have it too. So let us know what pain points your employees are experiencing. We want to make sure that Monroe County is not just the best place to do business, but a best place to live.
Yeah, well, maybe we can help y'all on that. Maybe we can offer like a bonus if they rent an apartment or buy a house or something. We really try to look at the personal goals of each employee and say, hey, what can we do for you? That's why we think we're a good place to work, is because we try to look at each employee's situation and say, hey, what can we do to help you reach your full potential?
Fantastic.
And that's like our whole statement we read is, we need to help each individual person reach their full potential. And so with that being said, I'll talk to the team more, and maybe we can offer a bonus if they do get an apartment that's, I don't even know if we're allowed to do that. We'll make sure we're allowed to, but if we're allowed to pay based on if they're able to get an apartment close to the facility, we're willing to do that. That helps everybody.
That's tremendous. Yeah. Excellent. And happy to continue working with you on such things. So
please reach out. I'd love to connect if, at some point.
Great.
In person. Thank you for all y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Jeff, I just had a question for Jeff real quick. So just to make sure that I'm correct, we're able to recommend somebody as substantially compliant, or do they need? Because I believe there's that we're allowed to say that they're compliant, substantially compliant, or not compliant, right? Those are our choices.
I think, and this will go back to the statute indicates that you can only find them non-compliance if they're due to factors, if they're not due to factors beyond control of the company.
That's right. That's right.
So in my mind, substantial compliance or really, if you reject them and say they're not compliance, you have to make the additional step of saying, and it's not due to factors beyond the control.
That's right. Right. Exactly.
So that's kind of the statutory guidelines.
Makes perfect sense.
Typically, when we sit here, it's like, are they trying? Are they?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I was just making sure that that saw the full range of things. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Excited.
Well, just for the record, we do pay bonuses to employees whenever they recommend their friends. It's, I think, $1,000 an employee. So we are, I think we're doing everything we can to get the right people in the door.
Yep.
And we have a recruiter. We're doing everything we possibly can. We're actively hiring. Y'all know anyone? We will hire them.
Yeah, right fit. That's fantastic.
And we're a growth company. We're not.
Yep.
We've grown every single year, and we hope to continue. Only can do that if we hire good people. So we are doing. I think we're doing our part. I'm sure we could do more. Sir. We are doing everything we can. That's all I have.
Excellent. So glad to hear it. Thank you.
All right. Is there a representative from Oliver on Zoom?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Mr. Black, good afternoon. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to ask you the same question. How's everything going? Is there anything that Monroe County can do to help you?
Okay, sure. Yeah. And thanks for the opportunity. I guess for introduction, my name is John Black. I'm the CFO at Oliver. In terms of business, there's lots of press out there. The alcohol industry has, taken a downturn, really kind of since 2022, which, good for society, not as good for business for us, but we are still expanding our presence, and really, our game plan is, compete for market share. Even if the market's shrinking, that's fine. We still believe we have a good product. And so we are getting more placements, more distribution, gaining market share, even though the total market has shrunk. In terms of operations, things are going great. I don't really have anything to ask for from the county. Whereas in 2021 and 2022, we were in a position of considering, do we move some manufacturing to like co-packers out of state? Now we've made the investments and we're in a position where we could, bring co-packing into our facility. And, West Coast production in California is super expensive. At our facility, it's very affordable. So we think we got a great proposition for other producers out there, if and when we pursue that as a strategy. On the employment side, 2023, I'll be honest, was pretty tough. I mean, we had a lot of turnover, and that was kind of one of the issues with our forum. We had open positions at the end of 2023. 2024 has been pretty good, though. We've been able to fill those positions, have stayed pretty staffed, and been able to retain people. Kind of similar to your previous conversation, like we do have some people that commute in, and what we've found is, people that have like heavy manufacturing experience aren't in the area. Like some of the really technical jobs are folks that are driving in because they, worked somewhere near some other kind of plant or manufacturing, have skills with machinery, and that's who we have to hire to bring in. So that's one of the things. I know we've, talked to like Ivy Tech, frequently and try to keep good contact with them as an avenue for training people. And, but, as of today, we're pretty much fully staffed and in a good position and, ready to grow more as the opportunities come along.
So what would be the average skill set that you're looking for for opening for positions that you would to add? Like, what would be like an ideal candidate that if you said, we want to add 5 people next month, we would be looking for this, and this. What would those skill sets be?
Yeah, the most likely hirings that we need kind of fall into, I guess, like 2 main categories. Like I guess maybe 3. One, like what I just mentioned, like sometimes we have technical people like who've worked around machinery, like they know, how to identify issues, use basic tools, and some technical sense. And those can be challenging. The other category, we can truly take people who just want to work in a production environment, so they would do like bottling and cellar work. And there we can train like that. Those folks, like we bring in and we train them. So as long as they've got a willingness to work and have a good attitude, I mean, they can thrive because we'll do all the training in-house for those kind of positions. And then the third category is our hospitality, and because our total actual employment is over 100 people, but like we have around 40 or so that are like part-timers in the tasting room, and obviously another like really high turnover type of job. And we found like where graduate students maybe they come and go, but they do really well just because of the level of maturity and professionalism they bring to our tasting room. And so that hospitality is kind of like the third, just knowing there will be turnover, just keeping the ability to hire and bring people in, even though we have a churn.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And this is a question for you, Jeff. Two questions. One, they have until 2027 so we're ahead of schedule anyways.
I'd have to look back, but typically we expect a little bit the first year, which I would consider this. It was December 2022, so particularly their abatement was they only got abated for personal property, but they had a real property component to it as well. So and I won't get into details, but state law wouldn't let us get real property, but personal property. So like the first year, particularly if you're having a construction project go on and then putting the equipment into that construction project, you really don't have a whole lot of expectations that it's going to grow much that first year. Usually by year 3, we wanted to see it a lot closer to where it was promised in the SB1. I can't remember exactly what when they ask for an abatement, they give a presentation, and part of that presentation is, hey, we expect X in 1 year, Y in year 2, and they'll let us know their schedule for filling it out. So, and my memory is that year 1 for this one, because of the construction project and because they have to get the equipment in, that it was not expecting a whole lot of additional employees. I did reach out to them because from the from their compliance forms, it looked like they lost, 10-15% of their employment, which when I talked to Mr. Black, he kind of said, well, that's just not true. We didn't count. When we did the SB1, they counted those 100 or so part-time positions, and the 53 was purely their full-time position. So that's why we got that follow-up email. So we're comparing what apples to apples.
Right. And then within the county abatements, is there a requirement for, benefits, particular wage levels or anything like that? Because I know in the city, for example, there's a living wage requirement for abatements.
I don't know if there is a requirement. However, they do report those informations when they make the application. And so that's why I put the comparison in that, in my short spreadsheet of here's the salaries that they were expressing they were going to give, and here's the salaries they actually have, so that it doesn't get thrown out of whack. We really have not historically tracked benefits and the hourly, although we do get that up front, right? When they make the application, we do get that, but historically, we've never gone back to look at those things, because I think they are a little bit more volatile than the wage stuff.
Right. Makes sense.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Black. Do you have any questions for us? Anything that we could address for you?
No, and apologize. We should ask more questions on the forms and not submitted something that wasn't comparable. So we'll be more attuned to that going forward and give you a better information right up front. So thanks for the time today. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no,
thank you for your time.
And I would just tell you that you are not the first person, nor will you be the last person that has filled out that form in a way. I would say 10 years ago, we used to mail out the forms because they weren't available electronically, and we used to send them a sheet that says, please fill it out this way, because they're so vague in their questions and how you could respond to them so you don't need to apologize, just like I won't apologize to you, because that's a state form, not a county form.
Right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So then we need to,
thank you.
Do we need to, we need to vote on whether we find them in compliance?
I think your vote on a recommendation to the county council.
Yeah.
And you can recommend that they approve the tax abatement compliance forms, allowing the abatements, or you can vote that they reject the tax abatement compliance forms. I would say if you're going with the latter, indicate which ones you're rejecting, and then we can change the form as needed. But you can approve them all, or if you're going to reject, I would reject them on a case by case basis, because I know we have at least two that I think we would struggle having the capability of rejecting, because they meet the SB ones.
So, does my fellow commission member have any thoughts or comments?
I think that both of these cases are, let's maybe separate them. I think the Pravelli case makes a lot of sense to me, and I think they've given a lot of evidence to the sense that they have the openings and they're just trying to hire people. I will just note, while they're also here, that when I look online for jobs at Pravelli, I do only see a couple of positions coming up, and they're showing up in places like Indeed and ZipRecruiter rather than like on their website. But then their website is like work for us and things like that. So there just may be a little bit of like signaling issues. I don't think that that's totally relevant for, the questions of their tax abatements specifically. But from my perspective, they're putting their best foot forward, trying to hire as many people as possible, trying to bring those people to Monroe County. It's outside of their ability to control whether or not they actively hire the people but that's not what we're abating. Like, we're abating the fact that those positions are open. So I would vote to approve the Pravelli one.
Okay. Any thoughts on any of the others?
I think all the others are also fairly straightforward. I mean, most of the Oliver one, I mean, there's a sort of technical question there to me still about, is full-time equivalent the same as a full-time job in terms of the benefits that were being abated? I wasn't there for the conversations of voting for the abatement. But I mean, from the information that we have, that I've received, that I can judge on, it looks to me that most of the issues with compliance and headcount were actually more technical about how they filled out the form. And again, I mean, a long-standing employer in this region, and is doing everything to sort of approximate. And I mean, if you look at the wages alone, the amount of employment money that's going into the community is substantial. So I would also vote for that.
Well, then I will move that all of the, that we recommend continuing approval of the abatements for all four of the entities we're here to talk about today.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we happen to have a form.
Thank you.
Counselor. All right, now, we are to consider the approval of the minutes from the February 27th meeting.
So moved.
I would second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Second pass. We're just moving down the list. Time for commissioners' comments. So, thank you, both, to representatives from Provelli and Oliver for being here. Thank you for all you're doing for our community and the hard work you're putting into making Monroe County even better. And we really appreciate it.
I might just add as a sort of, taking a 30,000-foot view here, that, how important it is that we continue, and I've been saying this almost every chance I get, but that we continue to provide certainty to the business community. If we want to say that Monroe County is a place where you come and do business, we want to give a lot of certainty to how tax abatements work, to compliance, to all of those things, make things as smooth and as easy as possible, for people wanting to do good in our community and partner with us. And so, I'm really interested in thinking about sort of the menu of options that we provide for people as a sort of recommendation to the commissioners, the county commissioners and the council about, if we come up with a clearer sense of, hey, these are the things that we ask for you if you're going to get a tax abatement, and it just make everything just as simple, as clear as possible, so that we can, provide this to more people, as many people as possible. So that's sort of my abiding position here. And also sharing Mr. Schultz's position that I'm very happy to partner with any of the businesses on the call or in the community in any way that we can, just to make what you do as great as it possibly can be.
And if you all know of, or, in other areas where you're, where you operate, if you know of vocational training or recruitment efforts that would help, that you think would help us in our community,
right,
please let us know, share those ideas. We're happy to find out what we can do to be better.
Well, and if there are job fairs and different things we should be doing, if y'all know about those, we talk about them all the time. We're just like, maybe that's something we should keep doing just to keep our name out there. And that's something we would, be fine to pay a small fee to go to. And I mean, getting one employee hired who's the right person pays for us going to the show for a day or two.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds great. All right.
We don't have time for public comment. We need public comment.
Do we have any members from the public on the call?
Can I be?
You absolutely,
We
absolutely.
just really appreciate the work of the EDC here, and look forward to continue to collaborate. So,
Thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do at the BEDC.
absolutely.
So, all right. Well, then I will declare this meeting adjourned.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Very efficient. That's why
Thank
you're here.
I need to bring it out to
Yeah,
get
if you
kicked
want,
off of this position.
if you want liberty
If
from